very well. We played at a snail's pace. I think, what did we have, 85 shots, turned the ball over. They gave up. I mean, everything they did tonight was harder and better. Their stuff was better than what we ran. Their energy was better. Their toughness was better. I haven't said that very often about us, and that's on all of us. That's on me to make sure they're ready, and that's on them to be ready. Tonight we were not.
Hey, it's game 5 of the playoffs. Maybe you should be ready to play a game. I don't know, Broussard. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Philly loses by 35. Were you surprised by the blowout loss?
I was very surprised, Wiles. Look, I picked Miami to win the series before it started, and I would have picked them with a bit of hesitation, but I would have picked them even if Embiid had been healthy for the first 2 games. But I was beginning to think, Nick, that Philly was going to win this series. After games 3 and 4, Embiid was getting progressively better in game 4 than he was in game 3. I thought he was going to come out and dominate last night. Harden obviously had played well in game 4. You were wondering, okay, has he found something? Was it a breakthrough? Remember, I brought that up, that he finally played well, great actually, in a game where the pressure was on and it was a big playoff moment, and none of that happened. I was shocked by the lack of energy, intensity, drive that the Sixers played with in such a must-win game. It was stunning. I mean, you are facing a team that is starting Max Strus and Gabe Vincent in the backcourt. Kyle Lowry was out.
Good play.
2 undrafted players, and they outplayed the once great James Harden. James Harden had 14 points and 4 assists. Even in many of the games where he hadn't shot well, he would at least give you 9, 10, 12, 15 assists. He was out of it the whole night, no energy, and then Embiid struggled as well. This was stunning, Nick. And I don't look. This series has been a home series, so maybe they'll bounce back in game 6. But what they did last night was absolutely shocking. And now I feel strong as ever, that Miami, even if they don't win game 6, they will win this series.
Yeah, I was shocked as well, but maybe I shouldn't have been. And Wilds nailed it. Like, Doc Rivers talking about his team having a lack of energy in Game 5 of the second round of the playoffs is just unforgivable. But we've talked about Doc's struggles up 3-1, up 2-0. Let's look at Doc's last handful of Game 5s. Well, yesterday was a disaster. Game 5 in the first round was the game, their single worst game against Toronto. They're up 3-0. They lose Game 4. They no-show Game 5 in Philly. What about last year? Last year, Game 5 against Atlanta was a game they led going into the fourth quarter and lost the fourth quarter 40-19. What about his last year with the Clippers? Game 5 against Denver. They're up 3-1 in that series. They have a double-digit lead in the second half, and Denver storms all the way back to win by double digits themselves against the Clippers. For some reason, Doc Rivers has a rough history in Game 5s, which are, I don't know, just the most critical game in a playoff series other than a Game 7. Like, it's a weird spot for your team to consistently come out flat or not put a whole game together. But what I was really most bothered by, Wilds, was the commentary surrounding the game. Because, listen, the media can be powerful. Inside the NBA is the single best sports television show, maybe ever. Certainly the best NBA show. I have massive love and respect for all 4 of those guys. But Barkley, he was speculating on something that I know to be false, which is Barkley said at halftime and then reiterated after the game that Embiid wasn't into it because he was disappointed he hadn't won MVP. And Embiid knew he hadn't won MVP, Wilds. Embiid is as locked in to the media as any star. We all knew, the reason we have talked on this show that Jokic was the MVP before the report came out, Wilds, was because we saw the Tim Bontemps straw poll and it was over. We all knew it. Embiid knew it. So I know he's playing through injury, Wilds, but the idea that he all of a sudden isn't suffering from a concussion, a broken face, and torn ligaments in his wrist, it's just unfair to the guy. He got whacked in the face in the first quarter. It clearly affected him, and he's far from 100%. I think Embiid has earned more respect than for us to think he dogged a playoff game because he was disappointed about not winning MVP when he already knew he hadn't won MVP.
Okay, so we're going to listen to Embiid in a second, but just to Barkley's point.
Fortunately, that is the right answer.
We start in Phoenix. Devin Booker, 28 points. Suns win Game 5 by 30. Luka had 2 more assists than I did. Nick, how worried are you after Luka and the Mavs got blown out?
Oh, I'm not worried. Listen, this thing's going to go 7. The Mavs are going to win in 7. I'm not angry. I'm not worried. I'm angry. And we'll discuss why I'm angry in a moment because these Suns have become quite the unlikable bunch, and they are going to rue the day they mocked my large adult Slovenian son. If you didn't watch the game, this was a really good game for a half, and then the Mavs let go of the rope inexplicably to start the third quarter's 17-0 run, and the game's over. Phoenix is too talented and has too much of a discrepancy as far as player ability 1 through 8 for you to get down double digits like that on the road, and Dallas is simply not going to be able to overcome that. They won Game 3 and Game 4 by never trailing after early first quarter. So the idea that Dallas was going to execute some 15-point second-half comeback, they don't have the horses for that. So I'm not worried. And Wilds, you and Brew, I'm very curious what your commentary is going to be because we are 36 hours away from a Game 6 that both of you guaranteed was not going to happen. So I would just recommend you be a little judicious
I said Drake
with
sweep.
your victory lapping. No, you're not allowed to do that when you're in Jenna's chair. There's a level of professionalism that is demanded from that seat, so put your stupid broom with the stupid Drake picture away. But, Brew, I'm not worried. I'm
That's
angry.
one man's
I'm angry at how the
opinion,
Suns
Wilds.
conducted themselves.
Thank you.
No, it's the truth. You guys said
ahead,
sweep
bro.
and gentlemen's sweep, and we're playing a Game 6. No victory laps for you guys. None. Not allowed. Against the bylaws of the show, Brew, as you would say.
You know I study the bylaws, and I've yet to see that in there, Nick. But anyway, look,
okay.
Nick, you put on a brave face. That's admirable. This thing is over. I won't go full Kenny Smith because Jenna's not here. She loves that bit. I'll save that for when she's here. But this thing is over, Nick. It's 6 games. I told you yesterday, okay, so they won't beat them in 5, like I said. They'll beat them in 6.
4.
And you should be very worried, Nick. And first of all, can we put something to bed? This is kind of related to what you're saying.